They're fighting for the children they say the state removed from good homes. Today, dozens of Utah mothers met with the Attorney General's office to discuss whether the state's protection agencies really have the kids' best interest at heart. Fox 13's Megan Henderson has the story.
This tape goes on for 30 minutes.
My son was beaten at a Food for Less grocery store, and they attributed me as the referent.
I want my children back, and I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm going to keep fighting.
One by one, they spoke about the children they lost.
I have no more money to fight for my child. He is a product of domestic violence.
And the children they're fighting to get back.
They want me to agree to put my children up for adoption. It will be a cold day in hell before I'll do it.
These Utah mothers, most victims of domestic violence, say the state has taken their kids away from them and awarded custody to the perpetrators.
The children are actually being given over to their perpetrators, and some of these individuals are listed on databases as having molested these children.
I believe my son is suffering from the same abuse that I suffered.
And Deborah Connor says she has proof, a tape recording of her son talking about the alleged abuse. Today she played it for the Attorney General's office.
Thank you on the leg.
They blame the mother. They say we're making it up.
But Ken Peterson, director of the state's Division of Child and Family Services, says that's not the case. He supports the system.
We take a look at the condition of the parent, the condition of the home, and is there somebody out there in a helping network who can take this child and provide the care and support they need.
Still, those who showed up at the state capitol today say change is necessary and vow not to give up until it happens. In Salt Lake City, Megan Henderson, Fox 13 News.
Two bills that deal with this issue are headed to the Utah Legislature. One would give child protection agencies the right to assess families before opening an investigation. The second would give relatives of children who've been taken out of the home more time to come forward and offer custody. Students at Bountiful.
You're watching KUTV 2 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Utah is harming families and failing to care for children, according to testimony at a meeting this morning at the state capitol.
Angry parents, adoptive parents, and grandparents gathered at a special meeting to protest Utah's handling of child custody battles and of family troubles. 2 News' Rod Decker was at that meeting, and Rod, tell us about the trouble.
Well, these are cases where the state takes children away from their mom or where adoptions don't work out. They're hard decisions that leave emotional scars.
That's why I came today, because I wanted my boys to know that I have not forgotten them, that I'm going to keep fighting for my children, because I believe they should be with me, yes.
A judge took Sarah Simmons' 6- and 8-year-old boys away from her and gave custody to the boys' grandparents. Sarah saw her boys last on Christmas Day. She says the judge ruled for the grandparents mostly because they had more money, and she misses the boys.
More than I can say.
Today, Sarah and others who believe they've been hurt by Utah's child welfare system gathered at the Capitol. Sherry Clement and her husband adopted 2 brothers, 13 and 14, after assurances from the State Division of Child and Family Services that the boys were not sexual predators. But the boys abused the Clements little girls, and one little girl still shows the effects.
And she wets the bed. She's afraid at night. She wants to sleep with mom and dad every night. She is still struggling extremely.
Now, Utah's child welfare system has had trouble for a number of years. It was under a court order and had a special monitoring panel. That led to a lot of fights. The panel's gone away. The consent decree, court consent decree's gone away. But as you can tell, the troubles persist. people still are very unhappy with the way a lot of child welfare cases are decided.
So are they planning to make any changes, or is this just a common line of parents who are unhappy?
There'll be some changes made in the laws, but I can tell you right now, even after the changes are made, there'll be some hard cases. These are terribly difficult cases when you take children away from a mom, or where you adopt kids and they abuse your natural kids, and it's just very, very difficult to know what to do. And Utah certainly hasn't solved the problem yet.
A lot of families end up unhappy either way it ends up.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rod. A bold thief.
Thanks for making it 2 News and You.
Angry parents and grandparents face off against Utah's child welfare system today. They say too many kids are taken away from parents, and the agency does a poor job of taking care of kids. Rod Decker is at the Capitol now. Rod, strong accusations. Are they valid?
Well, these are cases that involve adoptions that didn't work out, or kids that are taken away from their mom. They're tough emotional decisions, and they leave people unhappy.
That's why I came today, because I wanted my boys to know that I have not forgotten them, that I'm going to keep fighting for my children, because I believe they should be with me, yes.
A judge took away Sarah Simmons' 6- and 8-year-old sons and gave them to their grandparents. She thinks the decision was unfair. She misses the boys.
More than I can say.
Unhappy parents and grandparents complained about Utah child welfare at a special meeting. Sherry Clement and her husband adopted 2 13- and 14-year-old brothers after being assured by state workers that the boys weren't sexual predators. But the boys abused the Clements' daughters and threatened the girls if they told.
These boys had also threatened my whole family that they would come in and kill Mom and Dad and burn the house while we were asleep.
The youngest girl, now 5, has been in therapy more than a year and is still fearful.
And she wets the bed. She's afraid at night. She wants to sleep with Mom and Dad every night. She is still struggling extremely.
Child welfare head Ken Peterson said his agency tries to keep families together and has good statistics compared to other states.
Nationally, we look very good. We take very few kids out of home.
Now, this trouble has been going on for a long time. There was a federal court case, a consent decree, an independent monitoring panel, years of higher budgets. Nonetheless, as you hear, there's still a lot of complaints. There's still a lot of controversy around this issue. Back to studio.
Rod, are lawmakers looking to make any changes this year to all this?
Yes, there'll be 2 or 3 bills up here. There'll be changes that they hope improve things, but nobody thinks it's going to solve the problem. There's still going to be hard cases.
Okay, Rod. Child welfare officials in Utah say that statistically, fewer kids are removed from families here than in other states.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court.
And now, News 4 Utah at 6.
Good evening. Our top story, new at 6. Are Utah's children slipping through the cracks?
Advocate groups for children and families united today at the state capitol to tell the Attorney General's office to do a better job protecting Utah's kids. News 4 Utah's Nisha DeGaring tells us why.
We call on the Attorney General and all who work in that office to diligently serve the interests of justice and thereby earnestly protect the innocent.
Advocate groups at the Capitol say Utah's child welfare laws are hurting, not helping Utah families. They say children like the 4-year-old screaming on tape are being forced to visit or stay with abusers because the Attorney General's office and the state aren't properly investigating.
There are mothers who were the victims of domestic violence and whose children were abused or sexually molested, but whose children were taken away and given to the abusers. Why?
These people are being, they're being violated. They're being violated by the state, though.
Advocates say when there is abuse or domestic violence in families, the AG's office should better protect the children and should make sure petitions brought by DCFS to remove kids from families are factually correct. DCFS Director Ken Peterson says his social workers are doing the best job they can.
Before we're quick to criticize, let's look at the difficult job that we've asked social workers to do and what we're reimbursing them to do it.
The Attorney General's office sponsored this meeting today. They and the Division of Child and Family Services says they will look into and they will meet, talk about the accusations brought up at the meeting today. This was a chance for them to hear firsthand from women and families their complaints about the system. Now they say they are going to look into them.
Sounds like they heard a lot today. Thanks, Nisha.
The governor couldn't do it.
Well, they are the target of a lot of criticism. Now the state attorney general wants to find out if Utah's child protection agencies are actually protecting children. Fox 13's Megan Henderson was at a public hearing at the Capitol this morning. Megan, how was the turnout?
Well, Mark, this morning dozens gathered here at the state capitol to answer the question, are Utah kids being taken away from good homes? Well, representatives from Attorney General's Office, Division of Family Services, and other state agencies listened to parents and child advocates who say the victims are the ones being punished by the system. They say a lot of times Utah kids are quickly taken away from good parents because of false accusations. And by the time parents are able to prove their innocence, the child has already been placed in foster or pre-adoptive care.
2 months after they took my children, their father hung himself. He gave up. He said he'd never get his children back. Now I'm still fighting. And yes, caseworkers do lie. And they do stick their foot out. And they do try to trip you up. I received papers from DCFS, a treatment service papers I'm supposed to sign. They want me to agree to put my children up for adoption. It will be a cold day in hell before I'll do it. I want my children back. And I'm going to keep fighting. And I'm going to keep fighting. For 2 years, I'm a good mother, or I wouldn't still be here fighting.
We take a look at the condition of the parent, the condition of the home, and is there somebody out there in a helping network who can take this child and provide the care and support they need.
And we will talk to both sides more coming up tonight at 9 o'clock, Mark.
Megan, do people on both sides of the issue feel that any progress was made during the hearing today?
Actually, they do. They tell me that today's meeting really gave them the opportunity to get the points out that they've been wanting to make for a very long time.
All right, thanks for that live report, Megan. Fire damaged a home.